The Chosen One's Journey by DragonWolf12.
Welcome to Pokemon Village, said the attendant. I'm going to need your ID to check you in. Ash handed her his Pokédex. Is this your first time competing in the league? She asked as she plugged it in and started typing. Yes, ma'am, Ash replied. Alright, you're all set, she said, handing his Pokédex back. Your first match is on the water field at 1 o'clock against Mandy. Good luck. Thank you, Ash said. He turned and left the building to see Brock and Misty waiting for him. I'm on the water field at 1 o'clock, he told them. Great, Brock said. You've got 2 hours to get ready. Will you be using water Pokemon? Misty asked. I'll have at least one on my team, Ash said. I'll do some research on him before choosing my final team. I could use Gyarados, but that would be too easy. You mean easy for me? A voice said. Ash looked up to see a person with long green hair tied back with a red bandana. I am the astounding Mandy, your next opponent, he introduced. Ash, he said, holding his hand out to Mandy. Mandy seemed to grasp his hand before brushing away and making a Pokeball appear in his own hand. I'm sorry, my hands are for Pokeballs, not for people, he said snidely. Misty gave a growl. You could at least shake before your Pokemon match, she said. An unfortunate choice of words, he said, for your friend is no match for me. Lovely meeting you. He walked away. He's charming, Misty said, making a face at his retreating back. He just talked himself into the toughest match he'll ever have, Ash said as he pulled out his Pokédex. Ash sat in the locker room, focusing his aura and attempting to calm his raging heart. Don't worry, Ash. We can't possibly lose after all the training you put us through, Shelgon scolded. My tail is still sore after all the Iron Tail training you made me do, Nidoking grumbled. You're right, Ash said, as he took a deep breath. Ash Ketchum? A voice said from the door. Ash looked up to see a man standing there with a clipboard. You're up, he said. Right, thanks, Ash said, as he made his way out to the field. He climbed up to the battle box for the green side and observed the field. It was a massive pool with several floating platforms scattered around it. And now begins the third match on the water field, the MC announced. On the green side is newcomer Ash Ketchum of Pallet, and on the red side, a Pokemon League favorite, the astounding Mandy. Each trainer is allowed only 3 Pokemon. Now, let the battle begin! It's showtime! Now, Ash, watch me work my magic, Mandy said, as a Pokeball appeared in his hand and he tossed it to the field. Go, Exeggutor! Blastoise, to the battlefront! Ash called, throwing his own Pokeball. With dual flashes of light, the Coconut Pokemon and the Shellfish Pokemon appeared on a platform on the field. Ash took a deep breath as he tuned out the Mac's incessant chatter. Keeping one eye on the battlefield, Ash looked at the judge, waiting for him to start the match. This is a 3-on-3 Pokemon battle, he said. The winner shall be declared when all 3 of one side's Pokemon are unable to battle. Substitutions are allowed. Let the battle begin! Mandy went first. Exeggutor, use Psywave! Exeggutor fired a wave of psychic energy at Blastoise. Dodge it, and use Hydro Pump! Ash ordered. Blastoise leapt into the water just as the Psywave blew past it. He surfaced a moment later and fired dual blasts of water from his cannons. The water crashed into Exeggutor and pushed him to the edge of the platform. You'll have to do better than that if you want to beat me, Mandy said. Exeggutor, use Psychic! Exeggutor's eyes started glowing, and the water around Blastoise started spinning around in a powerful whirlpool. Blastoise was washed away by the water and started spinning around the pool. Now, use Egg Bomb! Mandy ordered. Withdraw! Ash shouted. The Coconut Pokemon started firing glowing white eggs from the top of its heads. They began raining down around Blastoise, exploding as they hit the water. Blastoise, use your Whirlpool attack to counter! Ash yelled. Blastoise started glowing blue as he took control of the water around him. The spinning water slowed until it started moving the other direction. Blastoise calmly swam out of the whirling water before sending it at Exeggutor. Exeggutor! The Pokemon shouted as the whirlpool started whirling around the platform it stood on, causing it to rock back and forth. Now, use Ice Beam! Ash ordered. Blastoise quickly fired a powerful beam of freezing energy at Exeggutor, encasing it in a sheet of ice. Now, time to finish this with Skull Bash! Ash said. Blastoise leapt out of the water as a white glow encased his body. He rocketed over the water and crashed headfirst into Exeggutor, freeing it from the ice and sending it smashing into the stadium walls. Exeggutor is unable to battle! Blastoise wins! The judge announced. And Mandy's Exeggutor goes down! The announcer said. Now he only has 2 remaining Pokemon to combat Ash's 3! Huh, merely beginner's luck, Mandy commented as he returned his Exeggutor and switched out his Pokeballs. But it's now run out! Go, Kingdra! He threw his Pokeball and released a massive sea dragon to the field. And Mandy has chosen his Kingdra! Will Ash stick with his Blastoise or switch to another Pokemon? Ash smirked. Blastoise, return! Blastoise was recalled to his Pokeball, and Ash switched out to another Pokeball on his belt. Throwing it to the field, he shouted, Gyarados, to the battlefront! With a flash of light and an earth-shaking roar of challenge, Ash's Gyarados appeared on the field. And Ash has chosen his Gyarados! It's a battle of the dragons! Who will win? The answer is me, Mandy said. Kingdra, use your agility! Kingdra took off, speeding across the field as its speed increased. Gyarados, Dragon Dance! Ash shouted. A wave of purple energy surged through Gyarados as it waved its body around in a hypnotic motion. Now, use Dragon Breath! Ash commanded. With her increased speed, Gyarados whipped around towards Kingdra and fired a beam of green dragon fire at it. It impacted against the dragon Pokemon's side, causing it to scream in pain. No, Kingdra! Mandy said. Quick, use Ice Beam! Kingdra fought through the pain and fired a beam of ice energy at Gyarados. Flamethrower! Ash snapped. What? Mandy asked in surprise. Gyarados ceased the dragon breath and launched a burst of flame at the ice beam, melting it. Now, use Ice Fang! Ash ordered. Gyarados' massive fangs became covered in ice as she quickly swam through the pool and bit down on Kingdra. It screamed in pain before falling limp in Gyarados' jaws. Kingdra is unable to battle! Gyarados wins! The judge announced. Now the astounding Mandy is just 1 Pokemon away from defeat! Can he stage a magical comeback? The answer is he can, and he will, Mandy said as he drew his last Pokeball. And now, Pokemon fans, may I present Crobat! Go! Gyarados, return! Ash recalled Gyarados and put the Pokeball back on his belt. Looking down at Pikachu, he gave a nod. Pikachu leapt onto the field and stood on one of the platforms. Mandy has chosen his Crobat, and Ash has decided to substitute for his Pikachu. The young trainer from Pallet has the obvious advantage here, but will it be enough to defeat Mandy? Not a chance, Mandy said. Crobat, use Razor Wind! Crobat started flapping its wings and launched a wave of white blades of energy at Pikachu. Use agility to dodge, Ash said. Pikachu leapt out of the way as his agility activated. He vanished and reappeared in bursts of speed all over the field. Now, use Electro Ball, Ash ordered. Electricity erupted around Pikachu's body and collected around his tail. It shaped itself into a ball of electricity, and Pikachu leapt into the air. He did a front flip and launched the ball of concentrated energy at Crobat, who was too slow to dodge. It slammed into Crobat and electrocuted it. Crobat screamed in pain as the super effective attack damaged it. It quickly became too much, and Crobat fell to crash onto one of the platforms, unconscious. Crobat is unable to battle! Pikachu wins! The judge announced. Ash is the victor! The crowd burst into applause as the MC started shouting. A stunning victory for Pokemon League rookie Ash Ketchum! He beat the astounding Mandy's entire team without losing a single Pokemon! Alright, Pikachu! Great job! Ash said happily. Pikachu leapt back on his shoulder and nuzzled him. I know, I'm awesome, aren't I? He said with a smirk. Yes, you are, Ash said. And good job, Gyarados and Blastoise. I'm proud of both of you. Thanks, Ash, Gyarados said. Later that night, Ash lay awake in his bed, thinking about the battle he'd just had. What's the point? An unfamiliar voice suddenly said in Ash's head. He smirked. It seemed Mewtwo was finally coming out of his shell. Ash had let Mewtwo out several times along their journey, but he'd only ever kept silent. The legendary Pokémon seemed content to merely watch from as far as possible as Ash trained or talked with his friends. Knowing the Pokémon's animosity towards humans, Ash let him be, deciding to let him make the first move, and his patience seemed to have finally won out. The point of what? He thought, knowing that Mewtwo would be able to hear him. Battling, Mewtwo said. Before I came into your service, another had control of me in the guise of being partners. He would force me to battle against trainers for no reason other than he didn't like them. I don't understand why. Ash let out a sigh. You've chosen a difficult question to ask, he said. Some trainers battle for enjoyment, others for fame, some for power, and some, like myself, because it's a way of life. There are so many reasons that no one really understands why we do it anymore. And what about Pokémon? Why do we battle with humans? Mewtwo asked. That's not for me to answer, Ash said. It's for us, Pikachu said. Since the conversation happened in Ash's mind, all of his Pokémon had been privy to it. In the wild, Pokémon battle against each other all the time, Venusaur said. Sometimes it's for territory, Nidoking said. Sometimes it's for mates, Blastoise said. Sometimes it is to gain strength, Metang said. For a Pokémon, battling against each other is as natural as eating, Gengar said. When we are captured by humans, it is the ticket to getting stronger than ever possible in the wild, Charizard said. We can battle against stronger opponents, Garchomp said. Also, traveling with humans means free food, not having to worry about territory or weather or if you'll survive the winter, Shelgon said. We also are given the opportunity to see sights that we could never dream of in the wild, Gyarados said. I think I understand, Mewtwo said. He fell silent again, and Ash knew they wouldn't get anything more out of him that night. He turned over and fell asleep.